Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Oxchair, on the show tonight is my mucker, Port Bear. How we doing, Port?
How we doing, mate? I've been better, but looking forward to a good show tonight, mate. Good to hear from you. How are you?
I'm back on the solids, mate. Tip top. Life's good, mate. We lost a game of football. You take your medicine, you move on, you dissect it, you look at it, take the positives, take the negatives. You'll see it slightly different the day after. Not much has changed for me, but I'm okay, mate.
Aye, it's the story you've seen so far, Oxshare, isn't it? So far, we've seen it's the sort of style of play we've seen. We've seen the sort of, we've questioned the attitude, we've questioned the hunger before. And I did say a few months back on the show that I felt that the time would run out when we would go a goal behind and we would always get it, we should be clawed back.
You can't keep doing that.
No, you can't, mate. It doesn't work. No.
Right, I'll tell you what we're going to do, mate, if it's all right with you. You there?
Yeah.
If it's all right with you, as a cue, if it's all right with you, I think we'll have the view from the bridge.
Great idea, mate. Let's have a view from a bridge.
That's what we're classing.
View from the bridge. Can't take it anymore. View from the bridge. Can't take it anymore.
Oh, we seem to be having some technical problems. Are you back with us? Bridge is on mute. Port Bear.
Aye, mate. Obviously, Bridge is stuck on mute. He's sat in his pad or something. I don't know.
He's surpassed himself, right?
What's good doing is one of his longest mutes ever.
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's his best all season, I reckon. What do you reckon? Brilliant, Bridge. Thanks very much. Poor Bridge. He's not even here and he's getting it, right? Oh, dear. Right, let's hear the view from the bridge.
View from the bridge. Can't take it anymore. View from the bridge. Can't take it anymore.
Hi, good evening. After yesterday's disappointing result, this is my take on the summarisation that I thought of the game yesterday. Thought Rangers started sprightly from the kick-off, straight into the edge of the 18-yard box at Hibs and was cynically taken out by the boy Hanlon on a rebo. Resulted in Clancy having to give us a free kick. Nothing resulted from the free kick, but Clancy dealt with the incident and gave out the yellow card. First minute, Hibs player booked. 2 minutes later, Newell, who grabbed the rebo from behind, took the jersey from him, pulled him, just going over the halfway line. He was booked also. So into the game, 3 minutes, 2 Hibs players booked. Something we'd expect. It's what we've seen from Hibs this season. So carried on. We were not much in it until the 8th minute when we gave away a corner. From the resulting corner, Balogun doesn't deal with Porteous very well. There's a bit of a tangle where he hits the ground. Ball bounces off Tav and Boyle's there a yard out to hit the ball into the back of the net. 1-0 Hibs. Rangers kick off, straight back on the attack again. Great forward. Aribo then gets a chance, goes across the halfway line, puts the ball into Alfie. Alfie has a shot at goal weakly and it just hits the keeper close beside him. He should probably put it in the top corner. But it was a great chance and it was a chance we should have took. 7 minutes later, we got undone. Nisbet, he jinks past Balogun, plays a pass around Golston. Boyles makes a run into the box. Tav's tracking but couldn't get the ball in. And the boy shoots across Alan McGregor into the far corner. And we're 2-0 down after 20 minutes. Bit of a surprise, as we all thought, because it's not something we seen coming, but we got undone. No defending properly, and we're 2-0 down. Straight for kick-off, we're back on the attack again. Arfield has a shot from about 25 yards, which was parried by the goalkeeper. 2 minutes later, we're back on the attack again. Aribo shows some nice footwork inside the box, jinks it from his left to his right, takes a shot, which just goes over the crossbar. So 2 chances that we had, could have made it 2 each, but at that point we've missed them, so we're still 2-0 down. Barisic then gets down the left-hand side, puts a ball into Arfield, takes a touch with his right, on his left, swivels and just puts a shot just past the post. It was pretty unlucky, but it was a good move by Rangers. Later on in that half, Golston and Balogun get themselves in a tangle. The boy gets the ball, squares it into the box to Boyle. I think, in my opinion, Boyle seen Davis coming and collides with him, so it sticks his body out for Davis to make contact. When he goes down, Clancy immediately points to the spot. Boyle steps up and makes it 3-0. So there on, Rangers again go back on the attack straight away. We're back up, puts the ball across. Tav gets the ball, puts the ball into the box. Porteous hits the shot. Arfield from about 12 yards takes a touch with his left foot, buries it into the left-hand corner. Goalkeeper's right, 3-1. Gets us to half-time. Thought in the second half we might have had a chance to regroup and get a chance to go at them, and that's exactly what we did. I thought we started the second half pretty well. We were on the attack, Hibs sat deep, but it was just the final pass or the final ball that was missing at times in that first half. Got to 61 minutes and the management decided to make a change. Well, they took off Kent and brought on Sakala, played Sakala on the left-hand side. We still huffed and puffed at that point. We had a couple of blocked shots. Arfield had one, but nothing that we were creating that we could say we troubled our goalkeeper. Again, the management team turned to the bench. 69 minutes. They went for Hadji and Ryan Jack to replace Arfield and Aribo. Thought Aribo was having a bad game and maybe a player I might have left on, but the management team decided to make the changes. Later on in the game, Ryan Jack had a chance. He had a shot. It was deflected. It went out for a corner. We still put pressure on Hibs. With another corner for set piece, Balogun had a good chance where he had a good chance for a header towards goal, but was off target. Ryan Jack retrieved it at the byline and crossed it back across. Golston headed it, but there was no power in it. So we're still huffing and puffing about their goal. Balogun looked like he took an injury in 81 minutes. We replaced him with Bassey, and we also took off Glenn Kamara and brought on Scott Wright. Again, we peppered their goal without actually causing them many problems. Again, for a set piece, we had a chance with Connor Golston. Morales won the header, and Golston blazed over the bar. He went back with a shot, and he blazed over. So 3-1 was the final score. Very disappointing. Absolutely gutted, guys. It's a game I thought we could have won and should have won. Didn't play well on the day. Possession-wise, we dominated it. We had 71% of their 29. We had 18 shots to their 3. We had 4 shots on target. They had 3 shots on target. Obviously got the 3 goals. We had 7 corners. They had 3. 6 fouls to us and 8 to them. So disappointed. It's another chance to get to a final. We're thrown away, but hopefully the next time we get a chance to get to a cup final, we'll make it. And that's my view and summarisation from the game yesterday.
That was the view from the bridge. I think it's only right, Bear, that the senior correspondent steps in and makes the report, don't you?
I think the stunt double done a fantastic job, mate. Well done, mate. Well done.
Body double, I think.
Body double. Fair play.
Aye, well done, Southside, man the board. Listen, Bridge hasn't been seen since about 6 o'clock last night, so any reports anybody sees Bridge, can you let us know?
Just contact the show.
Aye. I'm a bit worried he's got a view for the Erskine Bridge. Right, okay, Portbear, you heard Southside there. Thanks for that, Southside. Well done,
Aye.
son. Well done, mate, and thanks for storming in and doing that last minute. Portbear, gives your thoughts.
Mate, I think Southside summed it up perfectly. I'm going a wee bit, not a wee bit more harsh. I'm going a lot more harsh than probably he's been. I know I'm always a lot of times voice a reason on here. And I don't usually get emotionally involved, etc. But I think on the performance yesterday, mate, I think that sums up your season so far. And the one word I can sort of say is pathetic, mate. I think there's a lot of. I think this team's coming to an end next year. I think yesterday that team, the Gerrard championship winning team, has just came to an end, mate. I really think that. I really do.
You might be right. I mean, for different reasons, right? We'll start with it. With goals, we'll just do the 3 goals. We'll have a chat. We're not going to play the Giovanni Brand Bonkers interview later on because it's half an hour long, and we don't know if we want to cut it, but people can listen to it to their merits, and we'll maybe discuss it tomorrow night if that's fair with everybody. But we're about to look at the game and we'll look at the goals. I would say that we were in tap up until they broke up. They got their first corner kick. Would you agree with that, Southside?
Aye, mate, 100%. Aye. Aye, we're on done at the corner.
Aye. What?
Aye, mate, 100%. First goal.
We give away a corner, which will happen in a game of football. First corner in the game, surprisingly. And who thought it was going to end up in the back of the net? Because it must have crossed everybody's mind. Portbear.
Aye, mate, I wasn't confident. We've been leaking many goals this season for set plays. We've been absolutely weak. That's the best word I can use, weak, when it comes to set plays around my box. My defence has been shocking, mate, absolutely shocking. And from the corner coming in to weak play by Balogun, he gets put off the ball at a school win, mate. He really does. For Porteous, and then the ball flicks up, hits Tav in the chest. He should be on his toes, in my opinion, mate. I'm going to maybe people think that's a bit harsh. And he hits his chest and close towards the goal. And the third thing, mate, fundamentals of football, again, nobody on the posts. If we had somebody on the posts, that's healed up the line. And then McGregor as well. McGregor's the fourth mistake. Right. He doesn't come for it.
All this happened, I think you're right. The combination, I think you're a bit harsh on Tav. We'll get to Tav, but I think when they miss him, I don't know what you think yourself, Southside. It's just hit him, innit?
Aye, poor. I thought when the ball came in and obviously Balogun's hit the deck, he sort of I think he's maybe thinking one of them's going to get it, probably Balogun, and I think it just comes off him. Davis does go back onto the other post, which probably allows Boyle to be as close to the on-our goal line as possible, because Davis trips back when the ball comes in. If you watch it, you'll see him. It's something that we hadn't been doing, was putting players on posts, you know. Yep. But aye, he gets manhandled off the ball, and for there it leads to the goal, you know. So
I'm going to put it to you two fine, upstanding gentlemen. A guy who I think's been an absolute colossus for us. We just knew, and in the past, Alan McGregor. All that happened in the 6-yard box, lads. Maybe even 4 yards for the goal. For me, when the cross come across, when I've looked at it now, it's his ball. Punch it, catch it, slap it wide, move it away, whatever. You come and get it. It's too close to the goal for me not to be a goalie's ball. Portbear.
Now you're bang on, mate. I'm going to give you an example. What did their keeper do with every cross ball yesterday? He came for it. He came for absolutely everything, their keeper. And that takes the pressure right off defences. If you know your keeper's going to come up behind you and take everything that's coming in, then that's what happens, mate. And that's what the Hibernian keeper did. McGregor standing his line too often for me, and that's what happens to him when your goalkeeper's not coming out to command that 6-yard box, mate, which everything in that 6-yard box should be his, as you said, but no matter what he gets on it.
But he does come for it. Guys like Kamara and that should be switched on, and that's where you support the goal and be going behind him, and maybe end up with him 3 on the line, just in case something happens. You watch Kamara, he moves away. I don't know where he moves. He moves outside the post and away for the goal. But defending a corner, your first priority is defend the goal.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Okay. So that's the first goal combination. But I'm blaming Alan McGregor. Unfortunately, I think it's his ball when I've looked it back. Second goal, again a combination of mistakes for me. Bert, is your thoughts?
I think ball gets played up. Nisbet again, Balogun very weak for me again, mate. Gets turned far too easy and the ball's played down the inside channel. And again, McGregor, T-Rex arms, mate. His arms seem to come into his body. You know, it was only like his forearms and his hands it was up, and the ball goes through him. The ball goes through Alan McGregor, mate. It goes through him. As you always say on here, at times of sand for no man, you know what I mean? So, awful goalkeeping. I blame Alan McGregor for that one, yeah. But Balogun must do better.
Well, Balogun again, mate, who had a poor game yesterday, let's be honest about it. Down the inside left channel, I think the ball had been gained away from Borner originally, who had a nightmare yesterday, in my opinion. Not alone, but they two, people playing down that channel, we're in trouble. Balogun goes with Nisbet, tricks him out, then gets turned pretty easily, in my opinion. Makes it easy. The boy rolls it down. Whether Golson and Tav, the communication, it's all fraction of a second stuff. South side, the ball gets through. Tav can't get there. He has a shot. It's not a wicked shot. It's a decent shot. And then I think Alan McGregor should do better. South side.
I think the boy that plays the original pass to Nisbet, he played it in with some pace on it, just over the half white line. And Nisbet took a good first touch. You can say Balogun should have shot him down. Of course, he should have. That's what we're looking for. He's your defender. But Nisbet took a good touch, and then Golson just seemed to be in no man's land, and he plays the ball around him. Obviously, Tav, because I'm at first I'm thinking, what's Tav doing away across there? You know, but obviously he's in behind him, tracking him, and obviously he's not getting the hang me. Boyle can only do one thing here, usually, is the most of them will go across the goalkeeper. Good strikers usually go across the goalkeeper. I did think when it went in, I thought, Pete's sake, Alan, man, how do you not save that? Because I did think it was a shot he could have saved. But I'm not going to entirely blame him, but
no, you should have maybe got there, but I think he should.
He's had, as you're talking about him now, and I'm a big fan of Alan McGregor. You know, I think he's an outstanding goalkeeper. But I'm going to agree with you, and I'm not just saying because of yesterday, but he has looked a bit shaky over the last few weeks in certain games, or the way before certain goals. You know, but it was I just thought it was. Mate, Hibs have played us down the channels a few times this season, and other teams have done it, and that's the way they seem to find that's where our weakness is, when they play it between the full-back and the centre-back. So, it was a goal we should have prevented.
Nah, okay. The third goal. Yes, mate, of course you can.
Just on your full-backs and centre-backs. One thing I did notice yesterday, and I've noticed it in a few games previous, see the gap between Balogun and Barisic and the gap between Goldson and Tav sometimes take the 40 yards, mate. That's why teams like to play on inside channels, left and right. That's why they do it, mate. The gaps. I've
been saying it for how long?
Yep.
Where would you play the ball if you're playing against Rangers?
In behind, in them channels, 100%. Easy. Absolutely easy.
So if we see it, so does everybody else. Third goal, penalty, I think you summed that up quite nicely. South side, all I would say is, in my opinion, you could say it was a soft penalty, but if that happened in the other box, I would have been looking for it as well, South side.
I think it was clever for Boyle. You know, it was clever, and I've watched it a couple of times there just tonight. I thought, I bet I'm going to give a wee look at that again, because when I seen it the first time, I thought, he just looked like a Barsdom, and I thought, all right, maybe. But he's clever. He turns his body slightly, and you must see him coming, and then he just hits the deck. And the minute he hit the deck, I looked at a ref, and it was straight away. He was on his whistle, pointing to the spot. So, but I thought it was clever, mate. But if it'd probably been us, I'd been looking for it. But I said it was a bit of cleverness for one of your players if he'd done the same thing.
Okay, can I give you our team a bit of credit, bizarrely, for yesterday? So, are you ready for this?
Yep.
Right. I thought we were poor. I thought we were awful. There was a lot of individual errors. We collectively poor. Some worse than others, but collectively poor. I only gave one man pass marks, and that was Joe Aribo. And maybe Scott Arfield, because he scored a goal. I don't think he was great in playing either, but he was okay. So was Davis. He was okay, but I'm talking about 5.5 there, maybe max. Right? But what I will say to their credit, even though we were that poor yesterday, up until the last few minutes when the game petered out, they didn't stop going, to their credit. I mean, their best player playing the whole game was maybe the first half an hour of the second half, when that's when we've got to, there's something wrong, we're not making enough chances. We were camped in their 18-yard port there, and we never made any chances. And that's the credit I'm giving them, is the fact that they kept going. The downside is that we lack quality.
Aye, I mean, the gaffer watching that yesterday faced Androx here, he's obviously realised probably quite quickly he's got a bigger job than he thought he'd on. Everybody went on about this, this seamless transition between the two gaffers. But I think it's going to be a bit worse than with what I originally thought. If you look at the possession, like Southside touched on 71% to their 29%, then the amount of shots we had, 18, they had 3, which he scored from. We had 4 in target. So it tells you Rangers were on top of them, but it didn't look like watching it, did it, mate? It just looked like every time they went forward, they looked like they were, going to score. I'm going to be honest, it looked like they were going to score every time they went forward. But it's just, I'm like you, Joe Rebo was the only man I could pass marks to yesterday, and I was kind of shocked when he got taken off. I think, having watched the game of day again, and it's I'm not going to slag the guys that stepped in and took the team this week, but I think if they look back at the team and the way they set it up and the way the substitutions at Oxford, I just think they were kind of rushed, panicky substitutions for me when I look at it today. I thought Kent getting off at the time when he did, Aribo, probably 2 players you want to keep on for the latter stages of the game. I think it was very, very panicking substitution for me, mate. But it's no slagging the guy who took over. Fair play to them.
No, it's hindsight, and also it's no changing anything about the shape. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Southside, if that's all right with you, we'll get these phone lines opened.
Aye, mate, but hear what the Bears have got to say tonight.
Yes, the Bears. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Okay, there was a big talking point after the game yesterday, and I think it's only right we maybe play it, Port Bearer.
Aye, Conor Goldson, mate, yep.
Aye, yeah, obviously social media went mad. So if you don't mind, lads, get yourself a mute. We'll hear from Conor Goldson, and then we can have a chat about that as well.
Where do you think that performance came from? Was it the Rangers players who disappointed, or was it the Hibs players who performed well?
I'm not going to sit here and not give them credit. Like, they've beat us fair and square. We didn't deserve to win the game, but as Rangers Football Club, our standards need to be so much higher. Defensively poor, 3 chances, 3 goals in the first half. You can't give yourself a 3-0 mountain to climb. Attacking wise, didn't create anything again. So as a team at the minute, we're not performing, and it's as simple as that. Back to front, not one individual I think can come off that pitch and hold the head high, and we've got a lot of work to do.
You've obviously given credit to the interim coaching staff who've been in. Was this performance in any way down to the circumstances that the club have found themselves in now?
Not at all. The staff have been brilliant. They've covered everything this week. And we've let ourselves down. Players don't follow instructions. The first 2 goals are both from a corner. People are in the wrong position, which we've worked on yesterday. From a throw-in, people are in the wrong position, what we work on yesterday. And if players don't want to follow instructions, then we can't blame coaches, because they give us the information to do our job, and players don't want to take that on board. So then we're 2-0 down, and then they score a 3rd goal, and then the game's over. We can be in there at half-time and say, believe in ourselves and blah, 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 but the game's over. You're 3-0 down, 3-1 down at half-time. It's nowhere near good enough, but no, back to your question, not at all. It's nothing to do with it.
A new era starts tomorrow, though. At least, is that something to look forward to?
Well, we have to. We know that the new manager was there today, and you would hope that players would want to impress, but off that performance, we need it. We need a change. We need a spark. Mm-hmm. I feel like, I don't want to say this, but I feel like we've lost a bit of hunger. All of a sudden we're champions and we don't need to work as hard, which is wrong. And I feel like that's crept in all season. We haven't been good enough the whole of this season so far, and hopefully that new manager can come in and give us a spark.
We appreciate you talking to us, Conor. Thank you.
everybody will see that differently, and everybody's entitled to their point of view. My opinion, he's maybe just been guilty of being too honest because he's nailed it. Portbear.
Don't see what's up with that, mate. I do not see what's up with that. I've seen some hysteria today. People saying they don't want him having a Rangers jersey, the vice captain, etc. But honest, he's said today, Oxford, a professional footballer, what we've all been saying and thinking, watching on TV, watching in Ibrox Stadium, listening to his shows, etc. Mate, he's hit the nail right in the head. It's a great way to put it across, straight to the point. But as you said, maybe we've got hung for being too honest.
Southside, people maybe argue he shouldn't have said it. In the moment he's sitting to see the media, he says his bit, and I'm going to take it for there. Honesty.
I think it's a bit of raw emotion after the game. I think sometimes you'll maybe hold your counsel a wee bit, but he's come out and said what he said. The only thing I disagree is there's no Rangers captain, player, vice captain that he is should come out and say at 3-1 at half time the game's done. That might have just been said because it's just raw emotion and he's just angry and he's looking for answers. But a lot of it is honesty, mate, as well. I mean, I think some of them might be sitting there thinking that they've done enough and because the league was won last year, but you know as yourself, you've got to go again the following year. That's what makes you champions and that's what proves you're a champion. You go again the following season and you play well and you make sure you win that league. It's the first I've really heard the full interview, mate. There's a lot on this.
He's had to go himself for the defence and he's right about the forwards. We know that in games. And it hasn't we haven't been consistent.
Well, the first half, I think we're lucky. What did we have? 2 shots in target in the first half. Alfie had one in Arfield for distance.
We only had 4 in target the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, people see that different. I think that when I listened to it, and I listened to it twice, all I took in was that when you hear it, he said, we were 3-0 down, and you don't win many football games when you're 3-0 down Portbear. I think that was the point he was trying to make.
I think that's exactly what he's trying to make, mate. He's basically saying, if after 3 goals going past you, you're more or less chasing the rest of the game. You're chasing the next goal's an important one, which Rangers got just before half time, which I thought was mega important. But after the second half, you've got to be scoring that second one within the first 15 minutes of the second half, and we're on tap Oxford. But everyone was sideways, poor crossing for fullbacks. Absolute terrible crossing. I'm going to just say it. Absolute terrible crossing for 2 fullbacks. Nothing good at the box. Alfie playing his back to goal, mate. I think he's got to change it someday. I think he's got to go in behind at times as well. And I thought maybe with Sakala coming on, that would have changed that. But it's frustrating, mate. It's frustrating. Absolutely frustrating. It needs to be better. Much better than that, mate.
Mm-hmm. It's been coming.
Aye.
We haven't played well, and we've not played well. Not just maybe this season. If we're really, really honest, Southside, we haven't been great in the calendar year.
No, we haven't been. We've been talking about it on here for weeks, and the last few months we kept saying, hopefully we'll get better next week after the international break and we get the players back. Hopefully we'll kickstart. And we had a couple of results and a couple of 45-minute performances or 60-minute performances that helped. But we've just been misfiring since the start of the season, We've not actually clicked at all. I just feel as if yesterday, mate, they came up to Park 3 times in the first half and scored with 1 penalty and they scored for a set piece. And then the Muggies with a decent bit of play they might look at. So, like you said, 3 times they came up at Park in the first half. Apart from that, we had control of that game. We just couldn't get a final pass in to get a good chance for our strikers or anybody to get a shot at goal.
No width for me, Portbear. No width.
Massive problem, mate. Massive problem. When you're, when we get width, they're basically no delivery. There's no end product. But Ryan Kent yesterday again coming away inside when it's busy as anything in there. They've stapled the centre midfield area. They've got their back 4 who are playing pretty deep. There was no space. You need to be stretching that game. Ryan Kent needs to get as wide as he can at times. Whoever's playing on the right needs to do the exact same. Again, mate, very frustrating yesterday watching him. Schoolboy stuff, absolute schoolboy stuff.
Aye, talking about somebody who's never frustrated. We've been joined by old Davy. How are we doing, Davy?
Well, it's a big sigh, isn't it? But Oxford, listening to the comments, you're spot on with a lot of them. But regarding Goldstein, how you can think that was justified is beyond me. You wouldn't give John Gregg turning around and saying that at half time in front of the telly after a game, after getting stuff 3-1. That's shocking. That just sums up the way that guy's playing. You keep that you either keep that in a manager's office or you keep it in the dressing room. You do not publicise it in front of the television.
That's an opinion, mate, but I would think you would see very seldom in John Gregg's career coming off the park would have been interviewed like that, mate. It's modern football. You have to send somebody to face the camera. Southside?
Davey, I think it's modern times where players will come out and say, no, there's no many. But I agree with you. I don't think he should have mentioned players no trying or no being in their positions or no taking it. I think that's something he should have kept. But he's been honest. You know, that's his opinion. The thing is, he'll be judged because he's no signed a contract. He's there. He's come out and said what he said. He's calling probably players out. He said the management was fine, and like you said, I think some of it is true, mate. I think some of them are resting on their laurels for last season and that. But like you said, a lot of people would probably prefer it be said in-house and no said publicly on the telly.
I'd agree with that point. Yeah.
I get that point, Dave. I get your point that maybe you should I don't know, throw people under the bus. I think he's threw the whole team under the bus, including himself, Davey.
So he's throwing the supporters under the bus.
They all done that yesterday, mate.
It's justified. You don't broadcast it in the front of the telly, and then it's on YouTube. It's on everywhere. Or that Mankey mobs, they're loving it. You don't see that. You keep it where you want to keep it. You don't advertise it.
Put there.
I'm not so sure, Davey, mate. I think I was sitting thinking everything he said, mate. I really was, and I think it was brave of him. I think it was brave of him to come out and say what he says. If you look at another, probably more high profile, David De Gea, Man United, slated everybody the other day when they get beat 4-1 for Watford. That's what Ox is saying. It's a modern way, mate. These guys are getting spoke to and stuck a microphone in their face minutes after bad defeats. And I think that's just the way of football right now. And if you're emotionally driven, you care. That's sometimes what pulls out, mate. And I just think they've got him probably at a bad time. He's probably not want to speak. How the captain's not come out, I don't know. So I should say that as well. Why did Tav not come out? And speak.
Exactly.
So that's a bigger question.
Can I cut across both these here? I just want to put something to bed once and for all. I can categorically deny the rumour going about Bridgeman is not off the Villa radio. Okay, carry on, Port Bear.
I just think that's the way, Davey. I don't see a lot wrong with Conor Goldson did, mate. I don't know. I wear my heart on my sleeve. That's pretty much what he said. What I was thinking, mate. And a lot is, to be honest, I've been thinking this.
I get your keep your counsel, keep your powder dry, but I think it's just modern football, mate. And I would never chastise somebody for being honest. But
there's things you say, Ox, and there's things you don't say.
Aye.
You can be honest all you like, but you don't broadcast it like that to everybody.
That's the point of view, mate. I get that. I understand it. Yeah, I get that. Right, get back to the game, because let's be honest, let's not get caught up in an interview. Let's talk about football. And that was, we broadcast that in national television for everybody to see.
Mm-hmm. Well, I totally agree with you when you started the show this evening when you says it's onward and upward, and it's got to be that. Because Van Bronckhorst needs to get a sweeping brush and get that. Well, just try and learn them how to defend. That's schoolboy stuff. That's worse than schoolboy stuff.
Fair comment, mate. Fair comment. Right, I'll give you before I bring any calls in. I'm going to go to the other two lads and look. Well, praised all these guys, every one of them in the team. Borner, McGregor, Tav, Balogun's had games, Golson scored goals and good games. All the guys in the midfield, the forward players, have all had plaudits for us. And we've also been critical at times of certain one of them. But if you were to take one of them out the team for you, who would it be, Southside, and replace them?
I think we need to get centre half, mate.
With Balogun or...
Balogun for me, or just one player?
Aye, just one.
Aye, well, I would replace Balogun, aye.
Okay, I get that, mate. I was trying to watch Port Bear.
I would replace Taverna with Patterson, mate. I'm going straight up. I don't think Tav's offered us anything so far this season. He's poor at defending, and then if he's not offering you anything going forward, mate, he's an empty jersey. I'm just being brutally honest.
You looked at his assists this season.
Aye, I know, but I'm going on yesterday.
Oh, just on yesterday, okay, right. Yeah. But it was my game.
Okay.
Right, David, the Peavers pass to you.
Well, it's difficult because there's none of them at the races, you know, none of them. And when we're talking about the team for I said at the beginning, the boy Patterson should have been on, and Barisic shouldn't have been playing either. But to take anybody out the back four, I'm not being anti-Golson, but I'd take him and Tavernier out. When Hollander dropped off the scene, that's when we started to go and do Hull.
I don't know, mate. I mean, I like Big Hollander. I think he's our best defender. But I don't know. I think we've not played well all season. If we've been really honest, Southside, we haven't played well all season.
No, we've been disjointed all season.
I get all that. But no consistent.
Been disjointed all season, mate. That's what we've been in the defence, and we've swapped it about due to injury, suspensions and stuff, and then we've had players out because he left them out for the European squad and stuff. Hollander is a miss on the left-hand side of our defence. Golson, Davey, I mean, we're in the catch-22. He's a guy that plays most of the time. He organises. He tends to try and lead. He's not my favourite player, by the way. I'll tell you that right now. I've said on here many a time. Wouldn't bother me if he went away, so I'm not going to pick on him on because of performances. Balogun's another one, mate. In my opinion, I've said on here before, needs replaced at the end of the season. So whether we still had the old manager or at that time, or that we've got Gio now, we have to replace centre halves at the start of next season or get somebody in January. He might, you never know, he might think Simpson might be able to come in and play. He might see something that we don't. Who knows? He said everybody's got a chance. Like Patterson will have a chance as well, seeing whether he comes in our teammate. So, aye, there'll be a lot of people that are going to get a chance, and it'll be down to the manager once he finds a structure and how he's going to play, who wants to play for him, like he said, and the ones that don't will certainly believe in.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If I was picking a player on yesterday and maybe on the whole season, I get your point about Patterson and James Tavernier. I get that. Hope better understand it. I agree with everything that's been said at the centre halves. But if I was taking one guy, it's Borner. I don't know. It's just his body language doesn't look right. His heart doesn't look in it, and I just think that he's a shadow of the player we've seen play against us. In my opinion, he wasn't the only one yesterday, but. He looks a boy who's void of confidence. I think he maybe needs a change for his own career. Only my opinion, of course. Right, David, last word to you before we bring in the next caller, buddy.
Well, as you shall say, it's honoured and upward, and I think we're all getting a wee bit overconfident when we knew Gio was coming in. But I fear he's got a bigger job than what we all think he's got, because he's not going to turn that lot round for Thursday night. I'll tell you that.
Cheers, mate. Speak to you soon, all right, brother?
Hey, brother. See you guys. Watch yourself.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Davey.
Cheers. By the way, I had to get rid of him because we're joined by another Davey, and that was too confusing. How we doing, Davey?
Hello, this is Dave from Kent.
How we doing? Oh, I get you mixed up with old Davey. How we doing, Davey?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
Over to you, mate. The floor's your first time calling, mate. Over to you.
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Lifelong fan as well, but I've just been listening and watched the game yesterday and the car crash, and I've got to be honest, I think one of the big problems is Alan McGregor at the back. I think Alan's looking about 60-year-old this season, you know. He dithers about at the back. He's just like a car crash. He just don't know what he's doing. You know, he's messing around with distribution and, you know, he doesn't come for crosses. I mean, the goal yesterday, the corner, you know, what he's doing, just standing there on his line. Obviously, the centre-halves as well, there's nobody putting their head on clearing the ball. But McGregor is one of the big issues at the moment. Why he's in the team, I do not know. You know?
I'll take you to the guy who knows what it's like to be nearly 60. Southside.
Well, I'm 54. You know, I'm 54 myself. But Alan, last season, you know, maybe that was the swan song, you know, for last season.
Did you hear the
but
start
this
of the
season, I don't know what it is. He just doesn't. He feels, you know, whenever he's playing, you're worried. You know.
David, did you hear the start of the show?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
We agreed. We blame McGregor for the first two goals. Southside, then you come, mate.
Aye, I thought McGregor yesterday, as we said earlier, mate, he should have maybe got in the ball in the 6-yard box for the first goal. He should have come out probably for it. I agree with you, mate. I'm a big fan of Alan McGregor. I think he's been brilliant for us in the time he's been here, but I think maybe in the last half a dozen games, he's not looked the same sort of goalkeeper as we usually expect. He's a great shot stopper. Even yesterday, mate, honestly, Martin Boyle hits that penalty 9 times out of 10. He goes down the middle every single time he takes a penalty. Yeah. And McGregor's usually good at saving them, and he usually does his homework. And I thought he would have saved it yesterday because I thought he'll go down the middle and you'll stand there. But I don't know, he's looked shaky.
I think he's just so slow getting down, isn't he? I mean,
do you know what?
Motherwell. Against Motherwell. He got down and saved it, but when he got back up, he just didn't. He just sort of made himself. He opened his legs and his arms. He made it easy for a guy to put it past him.
He beat his near post, didn't he?
Jump at the feet and smother the ball. He just seems to have lost all of that.
If I'm honest, Dave, Alan McGregor's never been a keeper that comes out and catches crosses. You know, for all the time he's been with us, he's never done it. He'll maybe punch the odd one, but he normally stays on his line because he's got good reflexes and stuff. But I'll agree with you, mate. I'll agree with you. He's looking a bit older in the last 6-7 games that he's played for us. Looks a wee bit slower and not as sharp as he has been. And maybe a wee bit his mind, his distribution as well. Hasn't always been great, mate, but he's been putting out a play and no finding players and that. But it could be time for McLaughlin maybe to come in, mate. That'll be done to jail,
I think also maybe McCrory needs to come in as backup as well. I think Alan needs to drop out. You know, it's a hard one, but you know, with those displays, I mean, whatever the interim team was watching during midweek in the training, I think they just went safe. I think they thought, we're putting an experienced side out and we'll win the game.
That's what it done.
You know, look at Barisic. I mean, he's been absolutely appalling. I mean, when I saw Gerrard, there's rumours that he's looking at signing Barisic for about 8 million. Cool, we'd bite his hand off for that, 8 million. I'll take that because I just think Barisic is, you know, I think he's been appalling all season. He's got no confidence. He doesn't defend. He leaves big gaps. You know, how Bassi wasn't in that side yesterday is beyond me.
I'll tell you what, this David Kent's a wise man.
He is, mate. He obviously knows the game, mate. He obviously knows the game.
Yeah, just needs to freshen it up and up front. You know, again, you know, I know you guys were talking, but you know, lack of goals. I mean, probably Ruth is probably our best finisher. You know, he's a predator, probably. Alfie just, you know, he's just not a goal scorer, is he?
No.
You know, he never has.
He's not number 9.
He'll get goals, but he's not a goal scorer. You know that when he goes 1-on-1. You know, he goes 1-on-1 through and he'll just hit it straight at the keeper. And sometimes he'll get lucky and it'll go under the legs or, you know, but he's not a finisher. I think maybe, you know, it's time that we moved on a couple of these guys, you know.
Yeah,
you know, the board have said, didn't they? I mean, Ross, you know, they said today, you know, there's no pressure, we're not to sell people, but I think, you know, you do sometimes have to move on players to...
You need to develop. What's your story, David? Because obviously you're in Kent. What's your story with the Rangers thing?
My dad's Glaswegian. My granddad, I used to go over the road with my granddad years ago and watch the games. He lived in Inchwood Drive.
All right, okay. No, that
just over the road. He had one of the tenements over there. I used to go over with him when he was a season ticket holder. So I used to go over there and watch
me and Southside know where that is. Where is that, Port Bear?
I don't know.
Carry on.
Yeah, so I used to go over the road with him all the time as a kid, you know, so I've seen all the sides, really. You know, I remember the John Gregg era, with Forsyth, McCloy, all them guys, you know.
Whereabouts in Kent are you, mate?
Well, oh blimey, I live on an island now, right? Called the Isle of Sheppey.
Oh no, we are, mate. Yeah.
Right down there. But me, you know, we try and get up a few times a season still. And I go to a lot of the games. We've got the South London Supporters Club down here in Kent, so we watch some of the games, you know. Sort of all get together and watch it, you know, and that, you know, go and see the game. So it's we're still heavily, you know, in contact and watch all the matches, really, you know. Not that I can always get up there, but
no, I understand.
I've got family in that, you know, plenty of family in that. So yeah, you know.
Listen, great first time call. Would you make it up for outside first time call?
Aye, top man, mate, made a lot of good points, Davey boy.
Yeah.
The next time you're up. Next time you pop up to Glasgow, when you can come up, if you like Rangers Radio, no, Bridgeman will buy you a beer.
Yeah, great, yeah. Fantastic.
Dear.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Cheers, David. Speak to you again, mate. Yeah.
I'll speak to you again, yeah? Take care, guys, yeah.
Cheers,
I'll carry on listening in, hopefully, a few more points. Thanks very much. Speak to you again.
Great call, Port Bear.
Thank you.
Port Bear's been away Googling. He's been away Googling. Did you find it?
No.
Oh dear! What's that Rangers supporter not knowing where that is?
You could probably get to Ibroxport in maybe 50 steps.
All right, there you go. See, everybody's a school date.
Yes, talking about schoolboys. I've been joined by Andrew. How we doing, Andy?
I'm fine, Ox. How are you?
I'm back on the solids.
All right, Andy, mate.
I'm back.
I know you have touched on a lot of things tonight. The goalkeeper, what Goldson said and stuff. I just wanted to talk about the tactics. I think we got the tactics completely wrong yesterday. I certainly would have started off. I would have started off with Sakala. For his pace. Reason being, the boy was on fire. The boy, as we know, scored a couple of hat-tricks. Boy's confidence is buzzing. Alfie would definitely, without doubt, need somebody up there with him because he's coming short, and then when he's coming short, there's nobody there, you know, to with the speed to go through the channels to he got on to the end of he's coming short.
Yeah.
So I would have started Sakala yesterday. I wanted to know what you think of that.
Have you two lads don't mind? You mind if I take this to start with?
On you go. Yeah.
Southside.
Aye, mate, on you go.
All right, I get that, Andrew. I get it. Whether you start Sakala or you bring him on or whatever, I get what you're saying about the pace, because the way we play, everything's in front of defenders, and Sakala makes him worry about the ball going behind them, and it makes that maybe they go back a wee bit deeper. which means there's more space for your football players. And it was crying out for a change, maybe quite quickly, but I did not understand the like for like Kent for Sakala. If you're going to bring Sakala on, for me, you put him up beside Alfie and see how it go. At that time when they brought him on, mate, we needed 2 goals to get it in extra time. Not to keep playing stubbornly. We needed to change something. Starting them, yeah, I wouldn't have disagreed with that yesterday if he'd have started them. But there was a few changes for me. Bassey in front of Borna, and maybe Joe Aribo playing in midfield with maybe Bassey in front of him, Sakala in front of him, gave us pace and power all over the park then. South side.
I can see your point, Andrew. No, I also thought, like the team he picked, he went for experience, and the team he picked should have been good enough, you know. And see, look at the game. I know we're 3-0 down after 38 minutes, but they've come up with part 3 times. We still had possession. We still went forward. We peppered them. Alfie had a great chance. At 1-0 down, Alfie had a great chance to ping it in the net for us, and he didn't take that chance. Arfield was unlucky in the first half. I just think Sakala coming on, would have gave his pace maybe if he'd played them on the right then, Andy. If you don't play Arfield, you maybe need to drop Aribo or whatever. You would have had more pace doing both sides, going at Hibs, you know.
Yep.
I get that, but they went with how they went, and we changed it later on. It was a bit like for like, but Sakala, he didn't really influence the game much when he came on, did he, really? You know?
He did not, no, really. But as I say, like, when we normally play Alfie one up front, it's all right maybe in Europe, like, you know, against better teams, but when you're playing against a team, you know, like Hibs, who's not played for 4 weeks, who are, you know they're going to tire. All right, Sakala will run all day for you, and that goes against what I said. Be all right, he was brought on in 60 minutes, and they are going to get even more tired. So it doesn't really matter. But just some of the as Ox said, they've went for experience, and it's just fell flat in my face. But the reason I'm saying that is because the way we've been playing terrible. The boys done nothing wrong, and
I think we're going to watch, mate. We have been inconsistent, but we have scored 10 goals in the last 2 league games. Yeah, that's a start.
And Sakala's has scored how many of them?
3.
There you go.
3. He scored a hat-trick against Murrable. Yeah. Yeah. But, I mean, I wouldn't be against the idea of playing Sakala yesterday. Port Bear.
No, sure, I totally agree with what you're saying, as usual, Andy. I think what Sakala offers you, he offers you that danger in behind, doesn't he? You know, he turns defences, as Oxford said, he makes defences play probably 20 yards deeper because their feet has plays in behind. And I think we made it easy for him yesterday to play one up front, and it's Alfie who's back to goal. So right away, he's back to goal. He's got to turn and try and get shots in goal. With no runners yesterday, with no midfield runners, so Alfie couldn't play anybody in. Didn't help either. So I just think it made us it made us very predictable. Evans got up, Porteous and Hanlon had an absolute easy game, mate. An easy game against probably easiest game they've ever had. Alfie's not winning his duels, he's not scoring goals, he's not showing his physicality. I think the Buffalo's lost his cojones, if I'm honest. It seems to be they're in his head. I think, especially Porteous. I think Porteous is in Buffalo's head, and he's not showed so far anything this season towards any of the form that we need as a Rangers centre forward. I think on form, we see we have a problem with dropping players that are out of form. The undroppables would be Goldson and Tav, and Alfie's all coming into that situation. He was dropped once a couple of weeks ago. I think that was like a token gesture, if you ask me. Just to see if they can get a fire at him, you know, drop him, play Sakala, and hopefully Alfie will be angry and he'll come back the next game and play well. But he's not even kicked on, mate. He's not even kicked on. I'm beginning to wonder if the Steven Gerrard factor is beginning to is that what's been affecting this team the whole way through. Did they know he was wanting his way out? Or, you know, there's just, I don't know. I'm trying particular other reasons why our club and our players' form's been so poor this season. And I'm
Yeah,
wondering if he's a big
it's
factor in
not
it.
just this season, is it? If we're really honest about it, the calendar year we've not exactly set the heather on fire. Southside.
No.
No, I mean, we built up to it. Stevie G built a squad. He built this squad. He changed a few players, but the nucleus of that squad is there. He played a system. He knew the system. We built up to win that league, and that's what we built it to. And then we win it. It's how you react after you win that league. And we've all said on here since the start of the season, there's been COVID issues, there's been suspensions, there's been players playing international games, there's been the Euros, players come back at different times, fitness has been a problem, there's not been a pre-season. So, other teams are on much of a muchness, probably if you look about, but we're only concerned about Rangers. So, we haven't clicked. We've played well in certain games. We played well against Malmo at Ibrox probably for 40 minutes, 35 minutes. We've played well against Motherwell in spells when we beat them and Sakala scores his hat-trick. We played probably decent against Hearts at Ibrox, although we lose a stupid goal that cost us the points. Daft things like that. We've lost the silly goals this season that we're getting punished for, that we didn't get punished for last season when we gave up chances. So, Gio will look at things now and he'll have an idea, and the players will have to buck up their ideas. So they have been labouring. They've not been playing well. There have been a lot of players we've played every week that are trying to play them into some type of forum, and some of it's worked and some of it hasn't. So now Gio's going to come in. He's going to put a fresh eyes on it, and if he starts making changes and players start getting dropped and he starts picking the players and they start playing well for him, then that's the way forward. And all we hope for as a support is that we start winning and start playing well. So it's a fresh set of eyes on every one of them. It doesn't matter what they've done in the past. It's what they're going to do now for our new manager.
That's true. And Port, one more thing I'd like to say as well. I think the good thing is we've got Ryan Jack back. I know he only had a cameo role, but what he did for when he was on, he looked pretty all right, and I'm glad to have him back. What do you think of that?
I think Ryan Jack to Rangers squad mate is a probably another 10% of the team. But it's where you're going to fit him in. Who do we draft for Ryan Jack? Will he go on that right when he was? Later, Lundstrom later, right off. Something he'll take his place back once he's fully fit. But I think Ryan Jack fully fit is a great servant. Great. He's a warrior. I like Ryan Jack. I didn't have a lot of time with Ryan Jack when first signed him, Andy, but he's grown on me as a player. His qualities get better, etc. And I think his passion for the club, etc., has really surprised me. So, I'll be glad to have him back at the team when he's fully fit. Definitely.
All right. Thanks for the call, Andrew. Boy, we'll speak to you soon.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
Before you go, Andrew.
Yep.
Do you know where Inchelwood Drive is?
Sorry?
Do you know where Inchelwood Drive is?
Inchelwood Drive, no.
Better tell him Southside.
Inchelwood.
Mm-hmm.
Inchelwood, no.
Inchelwood,
no. Hold on, no, that's my wife, if you know. Do you know what Inchelwood Drive is? No, she doesn't know.
Right, we'll catch you after Sandy speak to you.
Right. Starts with a H. Andrew, the clue is it starts with a H.
Inchelwood Drive.
Oh, H. Inchelwood.
Aye.
Yes.
Right, okay. I'll Google it.
Dear. Right, catch you soon. Get yourself some mute. We're going to have a tune.
Well, I've never felt more like singing the blues when Rangers put 5 past Dean Andrews. Oh, Rangers, cha-cha, cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. When McAvenny scored the first, the beggars thought it was the first of many. Oh, Rangers, cha-cha, cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. It didn't take long to realise when Super Ali equalised. Oh, Rangers, cha-cha, cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. Then up stepped Super 8, it was a 30-yarder all the way. Oh, Rangers, cha-cha, cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. Well, I've never felt more like singing the blues when Rangers put 5 past Dean Andrews. Oh, Rangers, cha-cha, cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. Then Andrews claimed he couldn't see when Super Ali made it 3. Oh, Rangers, cha-cha, cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. The Ibrox fans, well, they wanted more when Kevin Drinkle made it 4. Oh, Rangers, cha-cha, cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. Well, I've never felt more like singing the blues when the Rangers put 5 past Dean Andrews. Oh, Rangers, cha-cha, cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. Well, Ibrox Park, it came alive when the bold Mark Walters, he made it 5. Oh, Rangers, cha-cha, cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. When Billy McNeil went home that night, he said to his wife, the Celtic are shy. Oh, Rangers, cha-cha, cha-cha, you got me singing the blues. Well, I never felt more like singing the blues when Rangers put 5 past Dean Andrews. Oh, Rangers, you got me singing the blues. You got me singing the blues.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
We back, Port Bear?
Cha-cha, cha-cha. Yep, yep, definitely.
You've been on Google, haven't you? You've been on Google.
No.
You've been on Google.
I still don't know what that is.
Dear, oh dear. Dear, oh dear. Listen, mate, people are going to come on. Yeah, you're going to come on and they're going to say this, and that, and nobody's wrong, mate. It's only how you see the game, you know. Certain players get under your skin more than others. When you're watching the game, people you like, you dislike, everybody sees the game slightly different. But after yesterday, you could get through that pretty much. The only one that I gave anything at all, I thought offered anything, and the pass in the match, it was an even better pass than Nisbet's for their goal was Joe Aribo. I know Big Al did. See, Big Al doesn't like him, so people see the game differently.
Aye, I think that's one thing about this show, mate. We all get different experiences of football, and people do have favourites and etc. Fans' favourites, you know, favourite players, etc. But I know you're talking about that pass for Aribo and Amarelis for the one behind the defender. I mean, you couldn't inch perfect pass, mate. And he was ball carrying, he was taking on people, he was isolating people. And that's another thing we didn't do yesterday, Oxford. Handling gets booked in 25 seconds, and then the boy Newell gets booked shortly after him. And then not once again did we isolate any of these guys to get them sent off, etc.
Part of the game, mate. Been telling you, yeah.
Aye, yep. You know, not once did we isolate them after that. 25 seconds to get booked, mate, and we never put under pressure once after that. Not once.
Yeah.
You know, I just think that's probably the worst performance of the season so far, Oxford, in my opinion.
Oh, I'll go the Malmo second half, mate.
Right, the play, yep. I understand that, I know, yep.
But, and I'll tell you why, mate, and I'll bring Southside in with us. We only had to win the half against 10 men. I mean, ever. We feel we lost it 2-0. Southside.
Aye, you could probably agree with that because they were down to 10 men. So, saying that, I'd say Malmo slightly better than Hibs. But I think there's a lot of mitigating circumstances and stuff that's happened to us this season. You know, it's just been a catalogue of errors, mate, really, since we've started. And it's always a bit of a knee-jerk reaction after a result like that yesterday. You know, we should win that cup final. There's no excuses. I'm raging, we're all disappointed. But we can all see how it has happened. We've not been good at set pieces, so we've conceded and gave away a smart penalty the way they are seen it, the way he done it, and a second goal where we're just no switched on properly and we're getting caught out with a wee bit of maybe skill that they might say, but it's a goal, it's a shot across our goal. Goalie should be saving, mate. We could probably pick in a lot of players and we want to move players on and we want to pick holes in them, but I think we're trying to be truthful tonight and be critical on some of the players' performances. And yesterday they should have been up to the mark because it's a semi-final and they're playing for Glasgow Rangers and you've got a new manager sitting in the stand. So from that point of view, we can be critical, but we're not wanting to go overboard. We just want to state the facts as how we've seen it this season, you know.
All right. Listen, we just want to, if you two lads can get yourself a mute, we're going to play a tribute to the real heroes of the weekend.
Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think we're on the run? We are the boys who will stop your little game. We are the boys who will make you think again. 'Cause who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think old England's done? Mr. Brown goes off to town on the A21, but he comes home each evening and he's ready with his gun. So watch out, Mr. Hitler, you have met your match in us. If you think you can crush us, we're afraid you've missed the bus.
That's the tribute to the volunteers of Oswald Bar, Southside.
Aye, I heard old Jack and Victor put up a good defence of the pub. Well done, guys, you know. Shocking behaviour for some people, so it is shocking.
Unbelievable, eh? Big tough men, big tough men.
Not even over the front door, Oxdear. Not even over the front door does they get. Fair play to the boys.
Boys? You're stretching. Oh, dear. Oh. I did laugh when I seen it. I think we've been joined by Jordan. Evening, Jordan.
Hi, panel. How you doing?
How you doing, Jordan, mate?
We're all right.
All right, Jordan.
Hi. I was at the game yesterday and...
Oh, so it's your fault you're a jinx?
Yes, it was me. I'm the one to blame just for the defeat. All blaming me.
Give your thoughts, mate. Give your thoughts.
God almighty. I don't know where to start with that one.
Just call me Oxdear, mate. God almighty's a bit much, all right?
God almighty. It's probably the worst I've seen this since the Hearts Cup exit in 2020. It's a P2020 all over again for me. I don't know whether the reason that Gerrard left was because he thought he took the team as far as he could go, and it's obviously had some sort of impact on the players now. But one thing I really liked about Van Bronckhorst was, I don't know if you've seen his interview today when he was introduced, it was basically, I took Goldson's sort of quote yesterday out of his mouth and said, if you think that's the case and think you've got no hunger left, you're going to find me as a hard manager at the end of the day. And I think a lot of them, if they have checked it, they can go as far as I'm concerned. But I think Van Bronckhorst is one of these people that's going to come in and say, listen, you're working under me now, you're not working under Gerrard now. And a lot of these players I think seem to think that they're still working under Gerrard, but as of yesterday, but they're not. It's obviously under Van Bronckhorst now. So hopefully now he can sort of steady the ship now. But he's going to have his work cut out to pick up what happened yesterday, because that was something that was frightening what I seen yesterday.
It was bad, mate. It was bad. But let's also put it in context. We haven't beat Hibs in the League Cup since 1947, mate.
I read that.
In a semi-final, mate. They've beat us 5 times, mate. And some of the times we went on and won the league. We better Rangers teams than that one yesterday. We were awful yesterday. I'm no defending them. We've lost the League Cup. We talked about it on here last week. It was poor. It was awful. If we can pick them up and we get a result on Thursday, maybe that's more important to the club, Jordan. Maybe. It's not a trophy, I get that, but in the modern climate, You all right there, Jordan?
No, sorry, I don't know what were you saying? I lost the signal. I don't know what happened.
All right, okay. All I was saying was, yeah, you're right. There's no way we put there. It was awful yesterday, poor as Jordan says. We can't dress it up. But it's how you react, and he's got a job in his hands, and there'll be players coming, there'll be players go, Port Bear.
Aye, I think he's, first of all, he'll get a clean slate. His job didn't start till Monday. So, first of all, all the players will start with a clean slate as far as he's concerned. It's just up to them now whether they want to play for him or they want to, is their time gone and they want to go. He's got to figure it out pretty quick in that squad, who's with him and who's not, in my opinion. I think he'll not have any favourites. That's another thing we'll not need to worry about. I don't think people will be in there on sentiment anywhere. I think he'll be pretty fair. I listened to his interview today as well, Jordan, and I think he made that pretty clear, didn't he? That if you're, if you're like the young players, if you're good enough, you're young, you're in, etc. So I think he's got an important job today. And Thursday could maybe put this to bed, but we'll not forget. I won't forget certainly about this semi-final, because what the end of this semi-final was also a final against our biggest rivals, and that to me also is important. So I'm still pretty peeved off.
I'll cut across you two gentlemen and let you know we've been joined by another final.
Guys for revenge for the 2019 Cup final.
Yeah.
Aye, I'll cut across you. We've been joined by another upstanding gentleman, George from UK. How we doing, George?
Upstanding gentleman. Oh, yeah. I don't even remember that. I was called an upstanding gentleman.
Only on a Thursday.
You were what? It's a guy dog in dark glasses on. No. See, yesterday, by the way, that was absolutely shambolic, by the way. You know what I mean? But see,
don't even know if it was
by the way, a lot of people. By the way, Oxford, I agree with you 100%. I've been saying it for ages now. Barisic ain't good enough to wear a Rangers top. He's just not good enough. This Scotland isn't the place for him. It's too tough for him here. Far too tough. He needs to go away. And by McGregor was at fault for that goal, man. See, when that corner came on, mate, said talking, he goes, "What's the matter with you?" I went, "Lads, I think they're going to score." He goes, "What do you mean?" I goes, we can't defend cross balls, both goal. I went, I said, but the most shocking bit was, I couldn't believe McGregor never came for it. Tried to punch it, whatever, just let it go. The second goal was just every bit as bad. I mean, it's so easy, man. Easy way to score goals against your team. Not talking about it. We just don't seem to be the races at all. I mean, honestly, man, it was shocking, mate. Really shocking. Know what I mean? And see him, mate. See Morelos. He looks as if he's doing the face-uppers and fish-uppers. No, I mean, he looks massive, doesn't he? Looks well overweight, sluggish, and all that. You see that? I mean, see he gets through. But how many times does he get through and goal and just whack the ball straight at the keeper?
That was a great.
All the time, isn't it?
It wasn't the goal could have thrown his hat on top hit, mate.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. It was a powder puff job, wasn't it?
Mm. No, I mean, it wasn't a great step. It was a lovely pass, George. A lovely pass.
It didn't fill me with joy thinking about him, mate. That Sparta Prague. No, I mean,
I'm just recovered from yesterday. Let me have a couple of days.
I'm just starting to kind of recover, man, because my phone's been like red hot, man. I've just been blanking it. No,
well, I told you to come off of Tinder, didn't I?
Grinder.
No, mate, no. But hang me, no, I mean, it's a disgrace, mate. It's a disgrace, not something for Rangers.
Here, mate. Here. I mean, they're strong adjectives, but you're right, mate. We don't mind getting beaten a game of football.
Aye, as long as it's a close game. We know like that. These stupid goals, especially the first two, they're pathetic.
All right, George, I'll come back to you, mate. We've been joined by your mate Ian for YouTube, and I want Ian in so he can say his bit, and then we'll come back to you, George. All right, Ian, how we doing, mate?
All right, aye, no bad. Been better, but aye, okay.
The floor's yours for a couple of minutes, Ian. You carry on, mate.
There's nothing I can really cover apart from what you've covered already. I watched the manager's interview today, and I thought it sounded absolutely brilliant. And as he put it, he's a strict manager, so there's not going to be any pussyfooting. He's going to look folk in the eyes and say, "You're playing for Rangers or you're no. There's the door." I think that's the way he's going to be. As for yesterday's game, there's not much I can say about that apart from Mince, just not putting it politely. And I love Mince, and especially on a Sunday, but yesterday I hated it. And the substitutes I didn't get. I mean, Aribo and Arfield were playing. To me, they were like the two best on there that were giving us wee options here and there. And they went and took them off, but subs on, and it was more a defensive when we were chasing the game. I didn't get that yesterday. I just didn't get it. And as for Buff up front, as for Alfie up front, I mean, he's got his back to the defence, and as soon as he gets his ball, his feet, the defender just take him out and get rid of the ball. I mean, he's no quick turn on him the way Sakala can go or anybody else. I just don't know what was going on yesterday. I don't know. I just think it was Mince.
I think Mince sums it up. Southside.
Ian, I agree, mate. I think it's disgusting the fact that a squad again have let us down, mate. Kind of semi-final of a cup, the support especially. So we've given them such backing, and it sticks in our throat. We'd like to have won get that one of the cups done and dusted, and especially when you're going to play that mob for our end of the city, you know what I mean? That would have been a good to get them a doing before Christmas. But it is what it is, Ian. No, we've failed. We've not turned up on the day, and the players have let us down for a semi-final, so we've just got to take it on we've got to take it on the chin. See now, Ian, the only thing is Gio's in the door now, right? And a lot of them will get a clean slate. Don't know what he'll do with Golson because that'll be his choice. Not just about the comments, talking about his contract situation, I hope he gets all the loan players back and all, and everybody comes in and gets a chance. And let's see who he wants to keep and who he'll pick players, mate. They all adapt. They'll all start trying to play for him. But in the summer, we've got to be realistic. We're a selling club. We need to sell some players. That's the model we're on. Nobody can say otherwise. The board of directors have told us that at AGMs. So some of these players will move, and hopefully we'll get some better players into our squad, mate. And that's the way I see it. Our club's got to evolve, and it's got to start now with Giovanni.
100% agree with you that I think myself it's only going to get better under Gio. I mean, he's got to me. He's got a. Did you say?
I think George.
Sorry, I thought you were talking to me there.
Carry on, Ian.
To me, he's got a pedigree that Gerrard done brilliant last season, as we all know. And I think Van Bronckhorst has got the managerial experience a hell of a lot more than Gerrard did, and he knows what he's doing. And I think he might bring a few wee beauties into Holland that he knows all about and get. He sorts to know. Right, I better go because I better let folk on because I know you're busy tonight.
Give your mates a shout out before you go. Good.
There's Sid, there's RFC, there's Kim, there's Scottish Lad, Malky, man. Every week I say I write in a bit of paper when I do.
That's all right, don't worry about all Ian's mates on Facebook.
YouTube,
mate. Looks after him.
Aye, everybody that knows me down in the comment section, just don't worry about yesterday because we're going to get better and we're going to get the 56th title. It's definitely going to be ours. I can see it happening.
Cheers, Ian.
Definitely.
Speak to you soon.
Right. See you later, guys. Right, thanks a lot. Right, done.
Right, George, back in you come, mate.
Aye. I don't even know what to say now, man. That boy for Essex, man, covered it well, 100%. About McGregor, I don't know if you've noticed this or not. See a few of the long shots that's in by McGregor. They look like crank strikes. See if you look at his position is. He's too far off the line. See if he's further back in the line, he saves his shots. And I don't know, the boy was right, man. He just looks off a sluggish at the now, doesn't he, man? He doesn't look like Al McGregor last year, man. He gave us everything, you know what I mean? Absolutely everything.
Listen, goalkeeping at the highest level is about maybe half a step. It's about half a step, George. It's about taking a half a step at the right time. Alan McGregor's been absolute phenomenal goalkeeper.
I don't like Hingme, but you've got to Hingme to down the guy, man. You know what I mean? Because he's been a hero, man. He's run a hero so many times. You know what I mean? I've lost count how many times he has been, man. The man of the match for Rangers. You know what I mean? But this season, I don't know what it is, man. It just doesn't seem to be clicking. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's age is catching up with him. That's what it is. You know what I mean? And McLaughlin. And I actually thought McLaughlin would win goals yesterday because he's usually into the cup games, isn't he?
He has played in a few, mate. He has played in a few.
Aye. Do you not save a penalty, man? No, that was against Hibs, isn't it?
Dundee.
Right,
I'm going to let you go, George. It's always great to hear from you, mate. Right?
No bother, lads, man.
Come on, we've got all week to talk about this, mate, all right?
No bother, mate. No bother.
Cheers,
right,
George.
Brilliant, George.
Cheers, George.
Care, boys.
Give us your last word, Jordan. See my lost, Jordan. You there, Jordan?
I think obviously with Giovanni, I think you'll see. He's here. Can you hear us, guys?
I can.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear us?
Hi, Jordan.
Mate.
Yeah.
I think it's a reception in here. I think I was just going to say, I think obviously if we see massive improvements or even better improvements under Van Bronckhorst, it'll show that there was maybe just something all right under Gerrard's sort of team when he was there, and maybe things needed freshened up. Maybe he took it as far as he can go. But I'm more than convinced that he can turn it round. I'm not looking too forward. Yesterday, I was done. That's out the way now. The new chapter starts today onwards, and it starts officially against Sparta Prague on Thursday. So we just need to get ourselves dusted down, get our act together, and play like Glasgow Rangers Football Club. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Well said, Jordan. I like what you've said there, mate. We'll speak to you soon, all right? Always good to hear from you.
Speak to you soon, guys. Take
Cheers,
care, guys.
mate.
Take care, panel. See you
See you later, Jordan.
You calm down the Port Bear. We've been joined by Robert. Evening, Robert.
Bye-bye.
Evening, guys. How you doing?
How we doing, mate? Right, what's on your mind, mate? Were you watching MasterChef there?
I wasn't, no. I was busy playing the Football Manager.
What were you doing yesterday about 4 o'clock? We could have done me.
I was watching the game, mate. I kind of wish I didn't, but watched it. Just a wee bit of reflection from yesterday.
Aye, on you
I've seen people mention it, and they will continue to mention it, blaming Gerrard for that yesterday. To an extent, aye, you can, but the players themselves need to stand up and look at themselves at that yesterday. I don't think there's any difference to that team sheet that would have been if Gerrard was in the pitch and the start dugout even. There's not one change I think you'd have made to the starting 11 that started. So for me, the players need to stand up, take responsibility and realise they're at Rangers. They need to step up in times like this.
I think we've been very, very reflective on here, Southside, and we've not criticised the coaching staff at all there in no one situation. The players went on the park, they're the guys who get paid the big bucks, and ultimately they didn't perform, Southside.
That's exactly it. Isn't it acceptable like Glasgow Rangers, you're at a semi-final and you can't get to that final and we're not now going to get a chance to win that trophy. So, aye, it's like anything, right? Everybody, all our supporters, myself, everybody out here, we're all Heatsborough, other place a wee bit when Gerrard left, right? We're not saying we're all greeting and upset about it. We're just saying that we're all a bit shocked. The players have come back. They might have detected something, but they've got to go out there and perform on Sunday, and they didn't. And that team, like you said, Robert, was good enough to go out and win that game. We didn't make chances. We've not been making a lot of chances this season, clear-cut chances for our strikers. And it's just been another episode of what's been happening this season. And unfortunate for us that when teams have been either set pieces against us or getting a chance, they're taking them this season, and we're conceding goals. So it's something that we need to cut out, mate. I think now a lot of the players will get they're all going to have to start playing for our manager. He's going to need to put a set of tactics in place different from what we've been used to. He might not do it right overnight. I think we'll still stick somewhere. I might play wingers maybe a wee bit wider or something, but I still think we're going to play in a certain type of shape that we've been playing in. It'll just be the personnel who he'll pick for Thursday and then for the league game going onwards, mate. And then as long as they're playing well and we start winning, then they'll stay in his team, I would imagine.
Talking about personnel changes, we'll also be joined by Bob Chair. Evening, Bob Chair.
Hi, how you doing, everybody? All right? Obviously,
Bob,
feeling the same as me. He's totally disillusioned about yesterday. I couldn't believe we were doing 3-0 after a little more than half an hour to a bunch of journeymen. And it's, as a fella says, it's no acceptable. It's not on. I just cannot put my finger on what went wrong yesterday. I mean, Glasgow Rangers have not got a divine right to win a football match. It's just the same as any other club. We've not got a divine right to anything. But surely we could have put up a better show than that. I thought we had a real chance of winning this trophy. I thought we could have beat them comfortably yesterday, and we could have beat a bang average along the road team in the final and all. But it's still transpired. New manager, new beginning. We've just got to get on with it. Simple as.
And if I'm being really honest, Bob G, and I'll take this to Port Bear then, Robert. This group of players that have done as well, have improved us. They might have took us as far as they can, because ultimately in big games, big 1.5 games, they've failed.
We're falling short. Aye.
And big, if you go back, if you think about 2020, the Hearts game in the cup, the big league games when we come back after the shutdown and against the Kilmarnock, Hamilton, etc., we failed. And then you had the cup. You go into that last season. We're coasting. We're doing well in the league games, and then we get to a cup tie at New Love Street, or whatever it's called. We failed. Then we carry on. We do well in the league, and we get to St Johnstone and the Sparta Prague games, 1.5 games. We only have to draw nothing each at Ibrox against Sparta. We're through, and we're twice winning the game against St Johnstone with minutes on the clock. We failed. Then you roll into this season, the big game again. We've got Malmo on the ropes, down to 10 men. We're winning enough. We failed. We stumbled into Europe. Then we get to the next big one-off game, which is this game, and we failed. There's a trend, Bob. Then Port Bear.
That's an absolute trend. I mean, the history of the last 2 or 3 years is horrific. And it's not a history that Glasgow Rangers are used to. Okay, like I say, we haven't got a divine right to win every game, but I would think a good proportion of the fixtures that we could have won and should have won, and we'll know. It's all right saying the league is the most important thing, but you've got to get the prestige of running the silverware regularly. And we're Rangers, and in this league, we should be doing better. The history you just rattled off there, I've heard it all night last night, and it's horrific. Nothing short of it. Okay, we won the league last year and I can't, but the cup record is diabolical, and it's got to be improved. Got to be.
Yep. You get to a national semi-final next year at the National Stadium, and it's a national cup, one of Scotland's biggest cups. And you touched on it. We failed again to secure one. Which is frustrating. There's only one remit when you're at Rangers Oxford, and that's to win. That's your remit. When you sign that dotted line to sign for our club, that's all we expect. Give it your all and we win. I touched on it earlier on. For me, I think this team's came to an end. I really do. I think some of this team, 3 or 4 of them maybe need to go Oxford to turn this around.
You might
I
be
really do.
Right.
But
okay,
that's all we ask for, mate, is a win.
Robert?
It comes down to one word for me, mate, and that's mentality. These players have won the league last year, like a canter, the guy said there. But at the end of the day, you play for Rangers, you have that winning mentality. Whether it's a 2-legged game or a one-off game, you go in that game knowing you're winning it. You don't take anything for second. You leave it all in the park, or you don't go in the park. You keep the mentality, you win the game, and you do yourself and the fans proud. Of late, they've not done that in the big games, like you say. And that's
Sorry,
the technique.
the person you've called isn't available.
Carry on, Robert.
And that's the kick in the teeth. And that's what it boils down to, the mentality. And I agree with Port Bear. This team, a couple of changes, a couple of freshness in there. Is that new signings that Gio's going to bring in? Is it players from the academy or fringe players, so we call them, that aren't getting a chance just now? who knows? Time will tell. But that freshness of a new management, a new style of play, new players, it could be the kick we need.
I know this might sound hard to believe, Southside. I'll take this to you and Bob Jeremy. It could be a blessing in disguise, the Stevie G thing, because it's been stale, let's be honest. I'm not going to go at him, my ex-manager, but it has been stale.
Aye, here, mate, he built us a squad, you know. I'm not going to sit here and criticise him. Aye, I'm not happy with what he done, how he left and all that, but you know what? It's football and it's what happens. Aye, it's disgusting. I thought he could have given us a bit more time, but he built a squad and we've got some good players in there and they've got some good value on them. So the thing is, we've not played well all season since the start of the season, or like you said, a calendar year ups. No, we've not really been playing that well. But aye, it's not acceptable that we're not in that final, and we should be winning this League Cup. But do you know what? It's done and dusted. Stevie G's gone, and Gio now will hopefully just give players a chance, you know, and he'll fit a system. And I think we need defenders. I said that, obviously, you know, people were asking what we need, and I says we needed 2 centre halves. I thought. So more than ever, we will need to recruit in the centre back position. Tav, 6-7 years at a club, he's not playing well. I'd maybe agree, maybe take him out for a wee while, give the young boy a chance. But I wouldn't just absolutely bin Tav. It might be a wee kick up the backside, take a bit of pressure off him, bring a young boy in, hopefully he does well. And if Tav needs to sit out for a few weeks, then so be it. And if he does get a chance back in, then he might come back revitalised again, you know. So I'm not going to slaughter every player out there, but we do need to change some players. We will need to move some on, and we'll certainly need to recruit maybe 4 or 5, 6 players, I think, come the summer.
Yeah. We've been joined by Alex for my shot. Evening, Alex.
Good evening, Ox there. Southside, Port Bear, Bob Jaird, and everybody else that's in the panel there.
Aye, Alex.
How are we doing?
Well, that's me just out of the shock now, to be quite truthful. Absolutely came out of that Hampden. I've seen many a Rangers team, but I'll tell you why. That is just unacceptable. Every time it's put in front of us, semi-finals or a final, I've been to this team just like you've done. Absolutely shocking. And they can sugarcoat it any way they want. And for them, the captain of the team doesn't even come out and do the interview. That's another shocker. Absolutely. Goldston, you can make it up what you want about him. With contract issues a lot. Every time that ball went down into the box, you feared the worst. We started off quite well. Then we gave away a stupid corner. And that goal is like playground stuff. I'm absolutely livid with it all. And Gio Van Bronckhorst he's got a mighty job.
Aye, you're usually very, very fair in your reflection of situation and matches, Port Bear.
He is, mate, he is, but he's got it bang on. I originally thought, probably like the rest is, there wasn't going to be too much, you know, more or less seamless transition between Gio and Gerrard because they play similar styles. They play, you know, the 4-3-3 system. Only the difference would be with Gio would add the Dutch sort of style to it, flair, if you like. But after what I saw all season, and then probably the last straw yesterday again, the bottle merchants bottled it again in a semi-final. And I just think that's too many times now next year. And we've on this show we forgave them and we've critiqued them pretty well, but I think we've still been very honest tonight. I think overboard. I think we've been pretty fair in our assessment on this team, but I think this is a much bigger job than we originally hoped for. I thought we were just going to think maybe Gio had 2 or 3 and everything will go back to normal, but I don't think so, mate. I don't think so, because it's all about their mentality and their desire for me as Rangers players, whether they want to be at the club or they want to play for the club, and that's what, as a professional footballer, they need to get that sorted out, mate, because it's not good enough. It's not like what Alex said. It's not good enough, mate. It's definitely not good enough.
Can you not just put some mate down to the turmoil bit of Gerrard just up and gone? Do you think that performance would have got put in if Gerrard had been in that dugout?
We can speculate that, but if you look at other games at Hampden, particularly Hampden, mate, and you look at what's happened even when Gerrard was there, mate, in the cup maybe, in the semi-final or finals, with one decent performance, we still managed to lose the match.
Aye, I just think it was still a bit of turmoil on the player seeds. I know it's a poor excuse because it's Glasgow Rangers are representing, and we're turning up here on Sunday and expecting a win, and we all said it on the show, 2-0, 3-1, whatever, and we're 3-0 down after 30. I mean, I looked at that scoreboard and I'm saying, you kidding me on? 3-0 down after 30 odd minutes? What's going on here?
But if you think if Regina is in the Regina shop tomorrow, and I'll go to Alec with Wishaw where it's Regina's in the Regina shop tomorrow, somebody gives them a draw and he cuts it all in and says, we've changed managers. Alex?
That was the debate and the argument in the bus. They're all like, that was Jared's fault and all this carry on. See the bottom line, see the guys who went on at that park yesterday. And you look at the body language, you want to know, Morelos, ons in the hips. Twice he put the ball at the park with a pass that was about 10 years. He run about there trying to get the ball. I could go on and go on about the full lot of them. It's a bit like the Man United syndrome now, to be quite truthful. Over the ship and all. And that guy's lost a job through it. And that's what Rangers is about now. That full back four, absolutely diabolical. The Tavernier, the two centre backs, and Bonner. I'll give Bonner a bit of leeway because where Kent's playing now, he's supposed to be out in the wing, where everybody thinks he is, but he's got a free role, and that's not helping that big Bonner's case. But see the rest, the two guys that, to me, was only Aribo that looked in and Arfield. And Kent to take him off, he was the only guy you thought could maybe turn the game round about. The substitutions to me was just substitutions for the sake of doing it, to give somebody a bit of run it. It was absolutely shocking. And we need to wise up now, the fans. We go there every week, we follow them. Here in Europe, the full lot. I'm only telling it as I seen it yesterday. And that is just no on for a Rangers team. And a cup semi-final especially. And against them and all.
Yeah. Well said. I think Davy for Grangewood's with us now. How are we doing, Davy?
No bad, Ox. Good evening, lads.
Hello, Davy.
How
you doing, Davy?
I'm doing no bad. Well, doing bad after yesterday. My point is, a wee bit disappointing Van Bronckhorst. I think he should have went in, as somebody says it last week. She went in, introduced herself at the start of the game, maybe about 5-10 minutes, and see the way it's played yesterday. He should have been doing the stairs, kicking arses. Pardon my French, honestly. At half time, he should have been doing the stairs because it was an absolute shambles. And
I think it should be.
I think, personally, I think he kind of bottled it a wee bit. He ought to do it.
I don't think he starts work the day, mate, because of the permit situation.
Yep. I couldn't.
Aye. There was nothing stopping him from going down there, introducing himself, and even going down at half time. He's not on the touchline or anything like that. And anyway, I think he kind of opted
it. You think that wouldn't have been all of the media if Van Bronckhorst would have done there at half time yesterday? There was a camera on his. There was a camera on his every move yesterday, mate.
Aye, there was a camera on him all the time. I understand that, but even before the game, then before he even came into the camera, he could have been in the dressing room introducing himself to the boys and telling them what he's expecting.
I just think he was on a no-win situation yesterday. If he'd been down there and that's still the result, his tenure got after a disaster.
I would have played for it.
I see the other way about it. I think it's a win. I think it's a win-win for him.
Because
he's still doing it, and he's lost, so it's not to do with him. If he'd have went and done something about it and they won, he'd have still been gone into the final, so it's a win-win for him.
I don't know if he doesn't know the players yet, he's not met them yet, he doesn't meet them tomorrow.
It's the same, we're going about players and all that. Morelos is playing too deep. Morelos should be playing in the penalty box.
Agree with that.
If he'd been playing the penalty box yesterday, the big centre, what's his name? The big boy, Porteous. He'd have been in the penalty box watching him. And there's a very good chance to get a penalty kick because he's as rash as anything. If Morelos is, because that's Morelos dragging him back into the penalty box. And they've got to put him in there to mark him. Kent should be on the left-hand side, on the left wing all the time. First half, you had more guys going down the left-hand side. Aribo is there on the left-hand side. He's supposed to be playing the right. And near times I know he was on the left-hand side because everyone was wanting to go down the left. They couldn't mix it up. And I've told you before, I think there's something wrong with their fitness or they're not putting the work in. And for me, that's laziness, eh? Because
maybe Conor Thompson, he got that right with the hunger bit. Bob Jerin, you come, mate? You came in there, Bob?
Well, I don't know the rules and regulations. Maybe I do, but I think if Gio had went down to that dressing room yesterday and the SFA had got one day when he wasn't permitted to start work on the Monday morning, well, they could have probably applied the club for that, and they would. Davy's quite right. I mean, he's a manager and he's want to make his presence felt. There's no problem there, but rules are rules, and the boy was contracted to start work to this morning. Am I right? Am I right, Ox?
Yep.
Believe so.
They contracted to start work.
Believe so. I understand Davy's sentiment.
And I could read, I mean, I'm not an expert in body language, but I could see facial expressions yesterday. Now, he can't, he's got a huge job in his hand. And you're making a point about Alfredo Morelos. I'm coming up 72-year-old, and I reckon I could play centre-half against Alfredo Morelos, and never mind Ryan Porteous. He's no interested. If you're no interested playing with Glasgow Rangers, you're better out the door, son. That's my message to him. I don't know what's up this season. We're all trying to put our finger on it, but it better change very quickly. We're in a good position in this league. We'll need to gather some momentum and carry it on.
See, with Morelos, they want him to drop deeper, eh? And lay the ball off.
Well, that was Gerard's tactic, Will.
He's doing no too bad a job doing that. But he hasn't got the pace to get back into the box.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was at his best, he was mixing defenders up and all the rest of it, and he was playing in the box.
Orthodox centre forward, aye.
He was playing in the box, and that's when he was at his most dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And he really was, and he used to rumble the defenders up.
Oh, aye.
And it was a different game then, but now they want to stop him doing a bit. He's not got the legs to get back in the box after he lays the ball off, because he's not got a lot of pace.
Yeah, that's how the boys are unhappy.
If you play him in the box, and the likes of big Porteous marking him, you have a good chance to get a penalty kick.
Well, we'll bring Robert back in. And you come, Robert.
Just listening to the guys there. See, in terms of the work permit, obviously that only get approved officially this morning. There's no way that Van Bronckhorst can go down into the changing room. He's not permitted to be in an area that's designated for the match day squad in any way. Otherwise, he probably would have. But at the same time, I don't think he would have pre-match either. If he goes in there, he could think, I'm going to make these boys nervous. These boys have been set up all week by the staff that are there. Brian Gilmore and David McCallum and Chidey. They're set up for this final. If I go in there and make them a bag of nerves, he's going to feel guilty if he lost it. If he doesn't go in, he's going to get people saying he should have went in. It's a no-win for him. But that wasn't the beginning of his tenure. Today is the start of his day. Meeting some players this morning, and tomorrow, his first training session. That's the beginning of Gio's day. Gerard's reign and era is over. It's Gio's time, and we'll wait and see what happens.
As you say, Stevie who? But
exactly, mate. Exactly.
I'm not interested in him now. As I said to you last week, Ox, I wish him all the best in whatever he does now. But I've no interest in him now. And as I say, Stevie who? But what's the talk Van Bronckhorst were going in on Saturday then to meeting the players? They're not stopping him from going there. He's not actually doing anything. He should have introduced himself to the players just to make sure that they're aware of who he is and what he wants for them.
But I would think that the club would be really, really sceptical about breaking the guidelines on work permits, mate. Yeah, I don't know what the sanctions involved in that would be. If you think we could take... Geez, he couldn't get a meal in a restaurant without people, the press following him, so I don't think he'd get in and out to see the players. He'd have been following his every move, mate.
What's the stop him, though? I don't
You're
know.
not allowed to be in a working situation, mate. Yeah, it would be different if he was going to meet his mates and he was a brickie. But he's getting in there and he'd be perceived as being part of his job. Southside.
I didn't see him making an appearance. I think when we were talking on the show and Van Bronckhorst was a favourite, we all said he probably wouldn't be in the dugout, and due to work permit situations and that, he couldn't be. You know what it's like, Davey? It's like some people think he should have been doing the word. He could have went to the hotel the night before and spoke to players, but probably he's seen it as the coaches at Rangers have set up the team. I think they only had a couple of days by the sounds of it, because players were away on international duty and stuff. So they had 2 or 3 days to sort of set a team up, pick a team and put it out there. And like you said, that team should be good enough. There's no excuse that team didn't beat Hibs, you know. And you've got to start showing character. A lot of them will need to stand up and be counted now, but that's down to the new manager now to weed them out. If they're not want to be there, then I'm sure he'll weed them out. But everybody's got a fresh slate. They still want to carry on this season and get a league winners medal at the end of it. And if any of them are wanting to still be at the club or are successful enough this season that he thinks he can keep them for another season, and they're going to get a shot at the Champions League. So that should be enough incentive. But you're playing at Glasgow Rangers, you know, and we didn't get all the trophies in that trophy room for becoming second, and the players have continually in cup ties let us down. They've done well in Europe for us and put us on the map, but I think it's time we're going to have to move some on and bring some freshness to the squad.
All we've done in Europe is play kind of well. We've never won in them, and
wait a minute, mate. For the last 3 years, we've put the coefficient up, man. We've beat teams.
I understand that, but who's going to benefit from that?
Well, the club's benefit. The club.
Maybe about 50 million quid better off, mate, because...
if we win the league.
If we win the league this season, it's a benefit to us in the long term.
But if you look at...
who's going to benefit if we didn't win the league?
If you look at where we were 3.5 years ago, and the revenue just for the gate money at Ibrox alone, you're into big bucks there, Alex.
Absolutely, Oaks, yeah. Southside's 100% right. This guy's going to be moved on now. And we're making a big issue here about Van Bronckhorst being there. No, it's a semi-final of a cup here. That team should have been up. Whether the manager there is, no. You're out representing that support. That's a vast support we took. And absolutely, if people's lying about Morelos, you're on about he could do this, he can do that. Aye. Used to. That's the word, used to. 18 months ago, have a look at him. How slim he looked. You see him now, by the way. That's not a guy to me that's wanting to play with Rangers Football Club now.
Not interesting.
That's me blunt about it. And it breaks my heart to talk about the players. But I'm just telling you straight. You're kidding yourselves on. He's not the centre. You're making out whether he goes deep to pick the ball up or not.
I hear on the programme regular, and every week you try and pick a team for every game, eh? And the majority of the time, the people pick Morelos in that team, yourself included.
Yeah.
So it's a bit hypocritical to say that he's no fit. Well, he probably isn't fit, but he's playing a different role. What he was playing when he first came to the club.
He could have played there for 2 days, David, and he still wouldn't have scored. That's the bottom line right now. And I'm telling you the truth.
Service as well, though. There's got to be service to him. If he's doing a different
service
role,
doesn't matter, by the way. He's not a centre forward in it. You're kidding yourselves on. He's not a centre forward in it.
What position would you say he's playing in then?
But he's playing.
Aye,
he's playing deep. He's bringing the ball in. But the bottom line, we know he's good in the box to put the ball in the net. But he doesn't even look fit, Oxford, anywhere where he's playing. To me, the guy's heart's not in it. That's the bottom line.
Alex.
His heart's not in it because he's not playing the position he wants to play.
I think we've not gave him a lot of service. We didn't. We gave him one
correct.
chance on Sunday. A ball for Aribo, and Alex, he should have buried that. We know that. He should have scored.
Correct.
You know.
Correct.
And Alfie 2 seasons ago, playing right up through the middle himself, he was pulling defenders all over the place in Europe. 2 goals in Villarreal, Feyenoord, Porto. They were scared of him. He was terrorising defences playing right up through the middle. But Gerrard changed it, and now we see him, he links of play, then you're saying, well, he can't get back in the box and all that. Because sometimes he is too far out the box picking the ball up. I still don't think he's great when he's passing the ball side to side all the time. He can get away loads of times. I just think if you get him back in the box, because we do pick him on here every week, because without a shadow of a doubt, he's our best striker. He might not be our best finisher, but he's our best striker.
He's not got over 100
I'll
goals.
go along with that.
I'll tell you what may be interesting, Port Bear, when Roy Mackay gets a hold of him. You've seen the build.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. I think that the more I talk about sparks earlier on, you know, something's going to the manager might lift the team, you know, different coaches, a different voice, share in the changing room, etc. Sometimes that's enough. Sometimes it's enough to lift any player at any level, and for that matter. And I think with Gio coming in, new coaches, new ideas, a bit of freshness in the coaching side of things. You touched on it earlier on. It did get stale under Steven Gerrard, and that's not any slight on the man. He delivers a title, and I'll always be grateful for him for that. But it's time to move on. We've got Gio and Charles.
Gerrard no too loyal to some. Gerrard no too loyal to some guys.
I said that earlier on.
In the business, than that. Yep. I've said this for a wee while. A manager, he's going to be ruthless but fair. And you can't keep relying on the same people that's not doing the business for you.
Maybe that's
the same with Tav. I've been on this programme, and I think they should play Tav right midfield, because a few years ago, mind the Wrexham used to be the same. Schoolboy football, whatever the ball was, Wrexham wanted to be there, and they got caught in the position quite a lot. And we put Wrexham in the right-hand midfield as a player of the season, a joint player of the season with Big Harson. It's the best season I had. Now, Tav isn't a defender. The same as Bonner. Bonner's not a defender either. But if you're playing Tav at the right-hand midfield, you're going to get him and Patterson linking up together with Aribo.
Honestly, Davey,
you can let Aribo go inside a wee touch, mate.
I don't see it, mate. I honestly don't see it. I can't see it.
See the amount is. But
I just ask Dave a question.
I on you go, Robert.
Right.
Dave, if you play Tavernier at right mid, who are you dropping? Who are you taking out of that position?
You've got Arfield in now, eh? I would replace him with replace Arfield.
You're talking about right centre midfield, not as a right winger?
Well, right mid. Arfield wasn't playing centre mid.
We play a 4-3-3, there's 3 centre midfielders.
Remember,
no, Reed Davis plays centre mid.
I think Wrexham done it playing in the middle. He played in the middle of midfield, winning the ball, keeping it simple, destroying and passing. He wasn't creative. He did have a great season, 2005. But I don't see Tab playing one forward, mate. I just don't think he's got it to play in there. It's a different game.
Well, the ability to do it.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's like an old guy. It's like an old guy at 44 trying to make his comeback. Everybody, when you're done, you're
I've seen that first time.
I really disagree with that.
Can you vouch for that, Robert? Can you vouch for that?
2 touches, he's done.
When you're done, you're done. You're done. By the way, that's not the first time in his life that's happened. 2 touches and he's done. But that's another story for that.
It's not a Friday.
Right,
wait a minute,
right. Davey, sorry. Take a breath. Take a breath, mate. We've reached that time of the evening and I don't get overtime, right? Thanks for all your calls, gentlemen. Thanks for the way you've conducted yourself. We'll be here tomorrow night, phone in and we can open up this whole debate. Can I thank Southside who stood in at the last moment for our Bridge? Bridge is all right, he's just busy. He'll no ways this week. Don't read too much into it. We're trying to get as much from Villa as we can get, as we can manage. Over to you, Southside.
Aye, mate. Aye, thanks for having us on and glad to have filled in for Bridge. Not as eloquently done, obviously, as the Bridge man normally does it, but enjoyed the discussion, enjoyed everybody's debate and everybody's opinion, mate. And it's been a good show, and thanks very much. And Bill, thanks to Port and yourself for having us.
Port Bear, keep it brief. I've got my work.
Aye, no, thanks, mate. Thanks for having us on. Cheers, Southside, for coming on at a late notice as usual. Cheers to the listeners out there, and have a good night, folks.
Thanks to all the callers. Genuinely, thanks to them all. Great debate, great points. Everybody sees the game slightly different, but great points where you've conducted yourself. Thanks to each and every one of you for taking the time to call us here on Rangers Radio. A big shout out to Davy for Kent, first time on the show. Great call for Davy and all the other boys as well. Thanks to Port and Southside for doing the show, and of course, Old School Blue and Fox sitting in the background. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking all things Rangers. We'll be joined by the one and only Big Stevie. Take it away, Old School Blue.
I've sailed the wide Atlantic, crossed the broad Pacific shore. I've sailed around the stormy capes, I've heard the parties roar. I fly the Indian Ocean, I've sailed the China Sea. Well, there's a sea back home in Scotland, means more than all the rest to me. It's the blue, yes, the blue sea of my brow. It's the greatest sight that I have ever seen. It's the blue, yes, the blue sea of my brow. And it happens when the orange beat the green. No more I'll sail the seven seas, no more I'll ever roam. No more I'll feel the urge again, I'm back where I belong. At 3 o'clock each Saturday, I'll join a happy throng with Rangers banners all around. We'll proudly sing this song. It's the blue, yes, the blue sea of my brow. It's the greatest sight that I have ever seen. It's the blue, yes, the blue sea of my brow. And it happens when the orange beat the green. It's the blue, yes, the blue sea of my brow. It's the greatest sight that I have ever seen. It's the blue, it's the blue sea of my brow. And it happens when the orange beat the green. And it happens when the